It looks like the Utah Jazz fleeced the Lakers even more than we thought. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Okay, so the Utah Jazz had one of the most surprising trades of the offseason. It's been a little bit forgotten because of the LeBron James decision, but that's okay. I spend a lot of my free time thinking about it, and I just feel very strongly that I think the Jazz are coming out of this trade just as good as before. Now, it's going to be a different team, obviously, with Walker Kessler gone than if you had Walker Kessler and then Jusuf Nurkic backing up Walker Kessler. But I think the Utah Jazz have made a decision on the style of play they want to play, that what they want from their center is more what Jusuf Nurkic brings than what Walker Kessler brings. And I think the actual impact on the floor is not going to be as much as we thought. I think it's actually going to be fine. And so Utah may even be better in some ways and still got every single draft asset that the Lakers could give that they had. So we're going to look at a little bit of stuff from dunks and threes. I've been into dunks and threes lately a little bit more. I just feel like they have some great stuff, and they really give you a good snapshot of the different players. Now, this is dunks and threes advanced metrics, and you can take it or leave it whether you like them or not. I know with the advanced stuff, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. Context is everything, but there is some really interesting stuff here to look at. So what we're looking at here, this is Walker Kessler. Let me zoom this in just a little bit so you can see it better. But what they have is their own metric. It's a catch-all metric called estimated plus minus, and it takes both offense and defense, and this measures expected plus minus for a player over 100 possessions, how impactful they are on the floor. And Walker Kessler obviously is a positive player. So if we change this and looked at the best players in the NBA, you can see here someone like Victor Wembanyama. He is a plus 7.8. Nikola Jokic, plus 7.3. Surprisingly good Kawhi Leonard, plus 7.3. And so on. It checks out. SGA, Giannis, Luka, surprisingly LaMelo Ball, plus 5.1. Maybe that's a reason to kind of watch him with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Obviously, this is an advanced metric, and there's more to basketball than just the on-off, but it is interesting. So when you see that Victor Wembanyama is plus 7.3, you can get a little bit of a benchmark for Walker Kessler here who's a plus 0.5. Obviously, everyone in the league, Victor Wembanyama is the number one prospect everyone would want on their team, and you have seen his impact right away, both on the offensive end and the defensive end. He's an alien. He's incredible. Walker Kessler, very good in his own right, plus 0.5. What's interesting is the Jazz traded Walker Kessler for quite the haul, the same type of haul that like a Jaylen Brown got or some of the other stars in the league. And Walker Kessler is making like $30-something million a year. I think it was 32 when all was said and done. I can't remember exactly. Let me know in the comments if you want. But it's in that range, plus 0.5. When you go to Jusuf Nurkic's page, plus 0.3. The drop-off is not all that different, all that much. They're pretty comparable in their impact on the floor, according to dunks and threes. Now, this right here is one of my favorite little graphics right here. It's this little small little graphic. Let's zoom in. And you can see here the true shooting percentage is the big one for Walker Kessler, and obviously blocked shots. Walker Kessler, you can see here, is in the 99th percentile in blocked shots and 94th percentile in true shooting percentage. Now, with advanced metrics, beware true shooting percentage a little bit, because sometimes certain advanced guys will hide the fact that a guy isn't a good three-point shooter by showing true shooting percentages, when we know that true shooting percentage kind of takes free throws and three-pointers and all those different things to kind of give a true percentage of their shooting. I don't know. Anyways, beware true shooting percentage. At the same time, it's a solid one. You want a high true shooting percentage. That shows you are scoring efficiently, right? This is a very good advanced analytic metric. Block shots, obviously great. Now, he's not very high in other ones. 40th percentile in scoring, 35th percentile in turnovers. Not a big assist guy, 39th percentile and 18th percentile in steals, which is kind of interesting. Walker Kessler is a play finisher, right? He rolls to the basket and he scores. Jusuf Nurkic, completely different play style. It's really interesting. Assist percentage, he's in the 90th percentile in assist percentage for centers, and that made a lot of sense last year. He had 3 games in a row of triple doubles last year. He's in the 83rd percentile in steals. Very interesting. His turnover percentage is high. Why? For centers, this is very high. This is probably a little misleading because centers are not typically moving the ball a lot. They're typically finishing at the basket, kind of like Walker Kessler is, right? So Jusuf Nurkic, who has the ball in his hands a lot, is being asked to pass the ball a lot, is going to have turnovers. We've talked about this on the channel many times. If you are a primary ball handler, point guards, you're going to turn the ball over, right? It's why turnovers are a little overrated as a negative stat, in my opinion, because if you're handling the ball a lot and you're making all the passes, chances are, you are going to turn the ball over. You just want to keep it as low as you can, right? And so Jusuf Nurkic, who played a lot of point center for Utah, throwing the ball to cutters at the top of the key, dribble handoffs, all sorts of things like that, he's going to have some turnovers because you have the ball in your hands. So I don't even actually really pay too much attention. It's something to watch, but I think this is inflated because this is compared to the other centers in the league who are not passing the ball very often. Basically, it's Jokic and, Wembanyama and a few other guys that are handling the ball, like a Joel Embiid. The rest are typically not handling the ball very much at all. So their turnover percentage is going to be high. So this is not surprising. He's got a higher percentage in the percentile in points, and he's in the 70th percentile in block shots. So it's not the level of Walker Kessler, obviously, but it's there. But what I like about this with Jusuf Nurkic and what this trade tells me is the Utah Jazz have a specific play style they want from their center. And I think when they found out all they would get for Walker Kessler, they decided, you know what, we got to decide what we want from our center position. And they like having a center that can do more than just get offensive rebounds and putbacks and block shots. They want a player that's more dynamic. Walker Kessler does not have an isolation game. He just does not. If you watch Walker Kessler as much as we do, you'll see that him trying to make a hook shot is not the prettiest thing ever. It's Rudy Gobert level, if we're being honest. And yes, he's had some times where he shot the ball from 3. It's extremely small sample size, and we saw stretches where he could not make a 3 for the life of him. So we'll see. Maybe Walker Kessler develops all those things and outplays his contract. Very possible. But after 4 years, we don't have enough sample size to really know either way. With Jusuf Nurkic, you know what you're getting, and he played so well for Utah last year that he had to rest because of a nose injury, so Utah could get bad enough to win the Darren Peterson sweepstakes, and they did, and it was great. Here's another screen. This actually shows the comparison pretty well. This is from last season, so this is a little misleading with Kessler. He's probably more plus 0.5, but it also has Jusuf Nurkic here at plus 0.1. And forgive me, I don't know exactly where they're getting this. This is the player comparison. Jusuf Nurkic plus 0.1, Walker Kessler plus 0.4. Basically, the moral of this story is that you're dropping 0.3 from Kessler to Nurkic, and then you get that entire treasure trove of picks, which, by the way, Utah at this point, because of those picks, if you think those picks aren't valuable, you are incorrect. And I know there's people in the comments that will talk about that and like, oh, terrible trade. Literally everyone in the NBA gave an A+ to the Jazz for that trade because, one, they did not have to overpay a center like Walker Kessler, who has not proven he can shoot a free throw, who has not proven he can shoot the 3, who's not proven that he can pass the ball. He is a good rim protector, although even I think that's a little bit also up in the air because there's a difference between being a good rim protector and being a good shot blocker, right? We'll see. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Walker Kessler in LA because the lights are brighter in LA, more national games and things like that. And he is going to be under the spotlight, and we'll see if he is up to the task. But anyways, for Utah, they have Jusuf Nurkic, who is going to play some point center for Utah. What I love about this is that it is going to make the landing for Darren Peterson into that starting lineup even easier, right? Instead of the complete onus and responsibility of playmaking being on him and Keontae George and figuring out how to play together from the get-go, right out of the gate, they are going to have a third option where, because they're going to have plays where Keontae George, Walker Kessler, or Keontae George and Darren Peterson will be running pick and rolls, right? Both sides of the floor. If the pick and roll doesn't work, they can either exit and reset, or they can throw the ball to the other side and let the other guy run the pick and roll, right? If Keontae George runs a pick and roll and they send their best defender, they can swing the ball over to Darren Peterson and run a pick and roll against a weak defender. And it's going to be lethal. But that's going to take some time to figure out that chemistry and to get used to playing together against top-tier NBA talent. What's nice about Jusuf Nurkic is that he is going to allow other types of ways for them to score and other ways for the offense to run. He can get the ball at the top of the three-point line. Darren Peterson, instead of having to constantly run pick and rolls, can also play off the ball. He can do catch and shoot threes, which he was elite at Kansas. He can cut to the basket. His athleticism is back, and he looks great. This Jazz offense, guys, is going to absolutely hum. It's going to sing. It's going to be like beautiful jazz music, like their name suggests, with different sorts of songs, different sorts of plays that have different types of sound. But each of those songs and each of those different riffs and freestyles are going to be excellent and are going to succeed. And all of this is going to be with Jaren Jackson Jr., Lauri Markkanen, and Ace Bailey on the perimeter as well, scoring the ball, shooting the ball at a high level. And that is the other thing that Jusuf Nurkic brings that Walker Kessler doesn't. Nurkic is going to be at the three-point line, so Utah can actually run the five-out offense that I think they've wanted to run for ages. If you'll remember, when Danny Ainge first came to Utah, he wanted to get Kristaps Porzingis, and they were that close before he went to Boston, right? They've wanted to have a stretch center. Now they have it. And not only is it a stretch center, but it's a stretch center who can pass the ball, a playmaker. It is the perfect type of player to run in the Will Hardy offense. And I think Utah very likely has a top 5 offense in the NBA. Good luck trying to stop the Utah Jazz from scoring, right? Now, we can talk about the defensive difference. It is going to be not as good from Walker Kessler to Jusuf Nurkic, right? That's just not debatable. You are not going to see a drop-off, though, in the rebounding. It's the rim protection. Jusuf Nurkic is not the worst rim protector in the world. He's probably pretty, right here, his block percentile, he's in the 70th percentile in blocks per 100 possessions. So, honestly, a little above average, if we're being honest, which is not too bad. But what's really great is that the Utah Jazz traded for Jaren Jackson Jr., who will now be in his natural position playing the 4. When he won Defensive Player of the Year in 2022-2023, I believe, he was playing off of Steven Adams and was just wreaking havoc. You can see here his plus 1.6 estimated plus minus. And look at this, 94th percentile in scoring for his position, 90th percentile in blocked shots for his position, and 75th percentile getting into the green there in steals. So Jaren Jackson Jr. playing next to Jusuf Nurkic in a lot of ways will counteract the loss of Walker Kessler to the Los Angeles Lakers. Utah is going to be good next year, guys. Very good. And I am excited to watch it. Guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Tell me what you think in the comments. I will talk to you next time.